If you're a Golden State Warriors fan and feel like every recent piece of news only adds to the uncertainty, stop everything now and pay attention. Because in the last few hours, something happened behind the scenes that completely changed the team's scenario and directly affected the future of the season. It's not just another rumor, it's not social media noise. It's a movement that explains why so many fans are frustrated, confused, and even tired of waiting for answers. And that's exactly what we're going to unravel now. What has really changed? Why this hurts those who follow the Warriors every day? And most importantly, what is the real path that opens up from here? Stay with me, because understanding this can totally change the way you see Golden State's moment. And before continuing, let me ask you something quick, but that makes all the difference. Subscribe to the channel now, like this video, and activate the bell, so you don't miss any important updates about the Warriors, especially at a decisive moment like this. Here we don't repeat headlines, we explain what's really happening and what's ahead. So do it now, because what I'm going to show you next connects all the dots of this bomb that fell behind the scenes. And you'll understand why nothing in Golden State is like it used to be. When the season begins, every Golden State Warriors fan creates silent anticipation. It's not just about winning games, it's about feeling that the team has a clear direction, that there is a plan, that each decision is part of something bigger. And over the past few months, this feeling has come and gone. At times, it seemed like everything was falling into place. In others, it was impossible to ignore that something was out of place. Now, with the trade deadline clock ticking, this concern increases. Each day that passes weighs more. Because what is at stake is not just a one-off change or a squad adjustment. What is at stake is the direction of the season, perhaps even the last great chapter of the Stephen Curry era at a high competitive level. We are talking about a team that has experienced extremes. In 1 week, the attack flows, the ball moves, the defense communicates, and the Warriors remember that team that dominated the league for years. The following week, everything crashes. The spacing disappears, the defensive errors are repeated, the rotation seems disconnected. This emotional roller coaster is no coincidence. She is a reflection of a cast that has not yet found its definitive balance. Stephen Curry continues to do things that defy all logic. Even with advancing age, he still carries the offensive gravity of an entire team. His every step on the court changes the opposing defense. Draymond Green, with all the nuances of his career, continues to be the defensive heart and emotional brain of this group. The arrival of Jimmy Butler brought weight, experience, competitiveness, and a mentality that was lacking in decisive moments. Still, there is a void. Every fan feels this, even if they don't always know how to explain it in words. That piece that connects everything is missing. A player who doesn't need the ball all the time, but who is always in the right place. He defends several positions, punishes the opponent's defense when he is left free, and understands the collective game above individual statistics. This profile is not easy to find, even more so for a team that operates under strong salary restrictions. The Warriors have no room for error. Each decision needs to be calculated not just for its immediate impact, but for the domino effect it could have in the years to come. And it is in this scenario that a specific situation began to become unsustainable. Jonathan Kuminga arrived in the league surrounded by expectations. Young, athletic, explosive, with rare defensive tools. There were times when it seemed like he was ready to make the leap. Good sequences, impactful games, flashes that fueled the hope that this was an important piece for the future of the franchise. But time passed, and the relationship deteriorated. The lack of minutes, the uncertainty of the role, the feeling that there was never full trust. When a young player spends weeks out of the rotation, the message is clear, and the rest of the league catches on quickly. The market value falls, negotiations become more difficult, and the internal environment feels the impact. Today, it is difficult to ignore that this relationship has reached a point of no return. Not necessarily because of a lack of talent, but because of a lack of fit. Sometimes two paths simply stop crossing, even though they both have potential. And it is precisely in this context that an exchange scenario began to gain momentum that completely changes the Warriors' interpretation of the moment. We are not talking about a simple negotiation between two teams, but a more complex construction involving three franchises with different but compatible interests. On one side, the Warriors, seeking to solve an immediate problem, transform uncertainty into instability. On the other, teams that see value where Golden State can no longer explore. In this drawing, the name of DeAndre Hunter appears. Hunter is not a player who attracts attention with daily headlines. He doesn't live off spectacular highlights or inflated numbers. But he represents something the Warriors desperately need: reliability. A winger who understands his role, defends with discipline, occupies spaces well, and can contribute offensively without disorganizing the system. His recent numbers may not stand out at first glance, especially in a season in which Cleveland also experienced instability. But statistics alone never tell the whole story. Context matters, and imagining Hunter playing alongside Curry completely changes the equation. The spacing created by Stephen Curry turns good shooters into great shooters, turns simple decisions into easy points. Hunter, in recent years, has shown to be a solid perimeter player, in addition to offering wingspan, physical strength, and defensive reading. He can mark multiple positions, change blocks, and not compromise the collective structure. Perhaps the most important point of this possible trade is what the Warriors would not need to give up. We're not talking about giving up valuable future choices. We're not talking about dismantling the little youth that still remains in the squad. It is an exchange that solves an immediate problem without mortgaging the future. Compared to other names speculated on the market, this alternative seems more rational. Less noise, more efficiency. Less promises, more delivery. From a locker room perspective, it also makes sense. After months of tension and uncertainty, bringing in a player with a professional profile, discreet and focused on the collective, could be exactly what the group needs to stabilize the internal environment. Teams that fight for something big need players who accept their role without conflict. For Phoenix, the interest is clear. A new environment could be just what Kuminga needs. A roster with established stars, less immediate pressure, and a different system could unlock the potential the Warriors haven't been able to consistently extract. Plus, getting a young center like Trayce Jackson-Davis adds depth and possibilities. Cleveland, in turn, gains something that is often underestimated: options. Depth of squad, versatility, and pieces that can be useful in different contexts and matchups. Not every exchange needs to be flashy. Some just need to make sense. For the Warriors, the impact would be immediate. A more balanced team, less dependent on improvisation, more solid defensively, and with an attack that flows better when everyone knows exactly where they should be. Of course, there is no perfect exchange. Hunter is not infallible. His pitch fluctuated at times. There is risk, as with any movement. But the biggest risk right now may be doing nothing, continuing to push a problem that has been going on for too long. The clock is ticking. Each game weighs more. Every postponed decision takes its toll. The Warriors need to decide if they are still fully committed to competing now, or if they will accept a quiet transition. This possible exchange sends a clear message. The team still believes it can fight. That still respects Stephen Curry's competitive window, who is not satisfied with just participating. At the end of the day, that's what every fan wants to feel: that there is intention, that there is courage to make difficult decisions, that the team is not frozen in time. Maybe this isn't the perfect move, but it could be the move needed. And often, that's what separates a forgettable season from a campaign that's truly worth remembering. Now, I want to hear from you. Would you make this switch? Do you think Hunter really solves the Warriors' main problem today? Or do you believe it's still worth insisting on Kuminga and trying to rebuild this relationship? Your vision is part of that conversation. Because following this team has always been more than just watching games. It's living every decision together. We are entering decisive weeks. And what happens now could define not just this season, but the course of an entire era. And now I ask you a direct question. After all this, do you really think the Golden State Warriors can continue the same way and expect a different result? Because what is at stake here is not just a change or a roster adjustment. It's the direction of the season. It's respect for Stephen Curry's competitive window. It's the decision between reacting now or accepting that time is passing. The next few hours and days will say a lot about who the Warriors choose to be from now on. A team that faces its problems head-on and acts, or a team that hesitates while the league waits for no one. And when the decision comes, it will change everything, for better or for worse. And if you want to continue following each update, each behind the scenes, and each movement that can redefine the future of Golden State, the path is there. In the pinned comment, there is the Golden State Warriors News Today playlist. Get in there now, because these videos connect, explain the complete scenario, and will always keep you one step ahead of everyone else. Watch the next video, because this story is far from over. And what comes next could be even bigger.